An alien warned them again and again, never attack humans. They will destroy you. But the galaxy laughed. They believed humans were weak, divided, and easy to crush. Fleets were sent as a test, and what followed rewrote the balance of power forever. This is the story of a warning ignored and a species unleashed. The warning was real, the consequences were real, and the galaxy learned the lesson too late. Humans adapt, humans survive, and humans strike back harder than expected. If you enjoyed this HFY story and want more powerful stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected for the next one. Humanity had always been curious about the stars, sending probes and satellites far beyond the solar system. But nothing had prepared them for the signal that suddenly appeared on the outer edge of explored space. It was unlike any natural phenomenon or known communication pattern. The scientists at the Deep Space Observation Center stared at the screens in disbelief. The signal pulsed with intelligence. It seemed to carry a message, a warning even. And it was clearly not from any human-made source. Everyone in the control room felt a mix of excitement and unease. Dr. Elena Ramirez, the lead astrophysicist, leaned forward, her eyes scanning the complex patterns of the signal. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. The data suggested an advanced mind, one that had been watching humanity for a long time. The patterns were too precise to be random, and some sequences appeared almost like they were expecting humans to understand them. The thought sent shivers down her spine. They were not alone, and more importantly, someone or something was trying to communicate directly. The military liaison, Colonel Harris, frowned as he looked over the readings. He had seen strange signals before, but nothing like this. There was a sense of authority in the signal, almost like a voice that demanded attention without speaking words. The colonel knew immediately that this could change everything. If it was a friendly intelligence, it might offer knowledge and technology, but if it was hostile, the consequences could be devastating. Still, the signal did not show aggression. It seemed more like a warning. Across the globe, other observatories began picking up the same transmission. Astronomers in Europe, Asia, and the Americas confirmed the readings, and soon, news of the mysterious signal spread quietly among world governments. The public remained unaware. But the people handling the signal knew that something extraordinary was happening. They worked around the clock, trying to decode the message. Every pattern was analyzed, every frequency tested, every possible interpretation considered. It was a puzzle that could reveal either danger or a chance for contact. As the team worked, subtle patterns in the signal began to emerge. It appeared to reference historical events on Earth, not recent ones, but events that hinted at human strength, creativity, and survival. Dr. Ramirez noticed sequences that seemed to show humans overcoming challenges despite odds that should have been impossible. It was as if the sender had studied humanity closely and understood its potential. This was no ordinary alien curiosity. The message carried a tone of caution and respect, a strange combination that left everyone in awe. Colonel Harris suggested using Earth's fastest communication channels to respond, even though no one knew if the alien would understand. After careful calculation, a simple acknowledgement signal was sent. The team held their breath, waiting for any sign of recognition or reaction. Hours passed. But then the signal changed. Its pulses altered slightly, almost like it was nodding in response. The team realized the intelligence was aware of them, aware that humans were watching. And more astonishingly, it seemed to care about the humans' future. The scientists began to hypothesize what the message could mean. Some thought it was a warning to humans about dangers in the galaxy. Others suggested it was an attempt to guide humanity toward a path that would prevent destruction. Dr. Ramirez believed it was both, a warning for those who might encounter humans and a caution for humans themselves. The more they decoded, the clearer it became that the alien intelligence had a perspective on humanity that no one on Earth had ever imagined. Night fell over the observation center, but the team hardly noticed. Their minds were fully absorbed. The signal continued to pulse, each beat filled with information, not words, but patterns that could be understood if one looked closely. It was teaching them to pay attention, to observe carefully, to consider what humans were capable of. And perhaps it was testing humanity's patience and curiosity. By the time the first dawn broke, the scientists and military personnel alike understood one thing clearly. This was not a casual encounter. This signal was the beginning of something that would change humanity forever. The signal carried a silent message that reverberated through the minds of those who studied it. A mixture of warning, respect, and intrigue. Humans were being observed, and the universe was aware of their existence. Yet, the intelligence seemed to hint that humans were not to be underestimated. The excitement in the room was palpable, coupled with fear, for they knew that they were on the edge of discovering something monumental. Something that could either elevate humanity to new heights or expose them to unimaginable risks. The pulse of the signal continued, steady and insistent, a reminder that the galaxy was far bigger than they had imagined, and humanity had just caught its attention. The aliens' message became clearer as scientists and military experts continued to analyze the patterns. It was no random signal, but a deliberate communication meant to inform humans about the universe and the history of those who had tried to challenge them. Dr. Elena Ramirez carefully translated parts of the signal, discovering accounts of civilizations far older and far more advanced than humanity. Each one had once believed they were superior. Each had attempted to confront or attack humans in some way, yet all had met unexpected failure. The aliens' tone was serious, almost stern, conveying lessons learned over countless millennia. The transmission detailed incidents that spanned entire galaxies. Species that were technologically powerful, fast, and intelligent had underestimated humans. The alien explained how they had assumed humans were weak because of their relative technological infancy. Yet humans possessed qualities that could not be measured by machines or weapons alone. The alien emphasized adaptability, ingenuity, and unpredictability, qualities that had repeatedly turned the tide against forces that seemed unstoppable. Every sequence of the message painted a vivid picture of humans defying expectations. Colonel Harris studied the patterns with a mixture of disbelief and awe. He had always known humans could be resourceful, but the evidence suggested something more profound, a natural ability to overcome challenges that no other species had demonstrated consistently. The alien illustrated past encounters with images and data sequences that showed entire fleets destroyed not by brute force, but by clever strategy, courage, and sometimes pure instinct. The message made it clear that attacking humans was not a simple mistake. It was a fatal one. Across the globe, scientific teams discussed the implications. Researchers were both fascinated and nervous. Some speculated that humans had been unknowingly observed for centuries, perhaps even before space travel became a reality. The aliens' account suggested that humanity's rise was always remarkable, and it had attracted attention far beyond the solar system. Dr. Ramirez noted that the aliens' warning was not just for potential attackers, but a recognition of human potential. It was a caution and a compliment at the same time, a rare combination that left everyone uneasy yet inspired. The aliens' messages also highlighted the reactions of species that had failed. Many had been arrogant, dismissive, or overconfident. The alien explained that their downfall came not from underestimating human strength, but from underestimating their unpredictability and their will to survive. Small groups had outmaneuvered larger forces. Civilizations thought invincible had collapsed in ways no one could have predicted. The alien repeatedly stressed that humans were not easy to understand. Their behavior defied conventional logic, and any species that tried to attack them would face consequences beyond comprehension. Dr. Ramirez and her team began to discuss what this could mean for Earth. They considered that if humans were already being observed, other civilizations in the galaxy might also take interest. Some could be friendly, but others could be hostile if they ignored the aliens' warning. It was a sobering thought, yet it reinforced the importance of understanding the human's own capabilities and limits. The message also urged humans to be careful, not reckless, showing that even the alien intelligence recognized both the danger and the potential of humans. Hours passed as the team decoded more of the message. The alien included examples of strategic thinking, problem solving, and teamwork, showing how humans could use creativity to turn dire situations into victory. The sequences suggested that these abilities were ingrained in humanity, not just accidental outcomes. The alien emphasized that other species often failed because they relied only on technology and power, while humans combined intellect, courage, and unpredictability. It was a subtle but powerful lesson on why humans should never be underestimated. Colonel Harris organized a briefing for higher authorities, explaining that the alien had confirmed humans were more than capable of defending themselves and more than capable of surprising anyone who attempted to attack. The alien seemed to have an almost protective attitude toward humanity, a recognition of their potential and perhaps a warning to the galaxy at large. The message concluded with a clear statement that humanity's rise was noticed. Any aggression toward humans would not go unanswered. The universe had learned from previous mistakes, and humans were at the center of that lesson. By the end of the day, everyone involved understood that this was no ordinary communication. The aliens' words carried weight, wisdom, and caution. Humanity's story was being observed and recorded, and it had become a benchmark for what other civilizations should never challenge. The patterns of the message left a lasting impression. Humans were resilient, unpredictable, and dangerous to underestimate. The aliens' warning echoed in every mind in the control room, a constant reminder that the galaxy had learned the hard way, and humanity was not a force to be ignored. The message concluded with a tone of respect and seriousness. It was not anger or threat, but a declaration of truth. Humans had survived and thrived against odds that would have destroyed others, and any species that tried to attack them without understanding this would face the same fate. The alien made it clear that humanity's potential was extraordinary, and the universe would have to recognize it. The warning lingered, a silent but unmistakable acknowledgement that humans had earned their place and their story was only beginning. Back on Earth, the aliens' message sparked intense activity in scientific and military centers. Teams worked tirelessly to decode every detail. Every pulse and pattern of the signal was scrutinized. It became clear that the alien was providing both warnings and insights. Scientists realized that the message contained not just historical accounts, but lessons that could help humanity prepare for future encounters. Dr. Elena Ramirez spent long hours analyzing the data, amazed at the depth of understanding the alien had about human behavior and capabilities. It was as if the intelligence had studied humanity for centuries, predicting reactions and decisions before humans even knew themselves. The signal contained vivid illustrations of past encounters between humans and other galactic species. These were encoded in complex sequences of light and frequency, but the scientists were able to translate them into understandable forms. The accounts showed humans facing overwhelming odds, situations where technology alone would have been useless. Yet humans survived and often turned the tide through quick thinking, creativity, and unexpected strategy. The aliens' message emphasized that these qualities were not accidents, but an intrinsic part of human nature. Qualities that made humans both resilient and unpredictable. Colonel Harris convened a meeting with global defense leaders, explaining that the aliens' transmission was not just a story but a record, proof that humans had repeatedly defied expectations. He showed examples where entire fleets and advanced forces had failed against humans due to overconfidence and misjudgment. The leaders were stunned, some skeptical, others alarmed. Yet everyone understood the importance of the intelligence provided. The message was clear. Humans could not be underestimated. Any force planning aggression against them would face unexpected consequences. Meanwhile, Dr. Ramirez and her team explored the implications for Earth's scientific advancement. The aliens' communication contained hints of technology far beyond human understanding, though the details were incomplete. There were concepts that could revolutionize energy, communication, and defense systems. The scientists debated how to study these ideas without overstepping, realizing that the intelligence was not giving instructions, but offering guidance, teaching humans to observe, learn, and adapt. It was a subtle way of preparing humanity for challenges yet to come. Across the globe, observatories and laboratories were connected through secure networks, sharing translations and interpretations. The aliens' warning prompted discussions about ethics and responsibility. If humans were capable of such resilience and potential, how should they use it? The aliens seemed to recognize the same dilemma. The message suggested that understanding humans went beyond physical strength or technology. It was about creativity, empathy, and courage, traits that made humanity uniquely formidable in the galaxy. As the day progressed, patterns emerged in the aliens' transmission that indicated potential threats. The intelligence highlighted how other civilizations had misunderstood humans and suffered consequences. The examples were clear and precise, showing that arrogance and underestimation could be fatal. Colonel Harris noted that these lessons were not only historical but predictive. The alien was signaling that similar situations could occur in the future, and humanity needed to be aware and ready. It was both a warning to humans and a warning to the galaxy. Dr. Ramirez began constructing models based on the aliens' observations. Simulations showed how humans could respond to various types of attacks, from direct confrontations to psychological warfare. The data indicated that humans excelled at adaptability, improvisation, and learning quickly from mistakes. The intelligence seemed to value these traits highly. The message conveyed admiration and caution simultaneously, suggesting that humans were not just survivors, but active participants in shaping their own destiny, a force that even advanced civilizations could not fully predict. The global teams also debated whether to attempt further communication. The aliens' responses were subtle but encouraging. Slight variations in the pulses suggested awareness and engagement. It became clear that the intelligence wanted humans to understand the consequences of aggression in the galaxy, to recognize the risks of being underestimated, and to prepare for the possibility of encountering other species. The message encouraged observation, analysis, and careful decision-making, teaching humans lessons that could ensure survival and growth. By evening, the weight of the discovery settled over the teams. They realized that the aliens' transmission was more than a warning. It was a record of humanity's resilience and a guide for the future. The message demonstrated that humans had qualities no technology could replicate, qualities that could protect them and allow them to thrive even in the face of superior forces. The aliens' observations left everyone in awe, knowing that the galaxy had noticed humans, and the intelligence had given them insight into both their strengths and the dangers they might face. The message concluded with a sense of urgency and respect. Humans had survived challenges that others could not. Their ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability were their greatest assets. The aliens' words were both cautionary and inspiring, a reminder that humanity had earned a reputation in the galaxy, one that demanded attention, respect, and careful consideration. The intelligence left a silent but clear message. The universe had noticed humans, and anyone who underestimated them would soon learn the consequences. Despite the aliens' warning being decoded and understood by human scientists, not all civilizations in the galaxy paid attention. Many species dismissed the message, assuming humans were primitive and technologically weak. They believed the intelligence was exaggerating, and that humanity's potential had been overstated. Scouts and spies from distant empires secretly observed human colonies, curious but unconcerned, planning small incursions to test the humans' defenses and capabilities. These species thought it would be easy to overwhelm humanity with advanced weaponry and superior numbers, unaware that the aliens' warning carried truth and experience accumulated over centuries. On Earth, the scientists and military officials continued analyzing the aliens' signal, unaware that other civilizations were beginning to move. They debated whether humanity should respond proactively or remain cautious. Dr. Elena Ramirez argued for careful observation and preparation, stressing that the lessons in the aliens' message suggested humans were stronger and smarter than most suspected. Yet despite their efforts, there was no way to know the intentions of those who ignored the warning. The sense of urgency grew as subtle anomalies appeared in orbital scans and deep space monitoring systems, hinting at foreign probes approaching. The scouts that arrived were technologically advanced, sleek vessels capable of traveling at incredible speeds. Their mission was reconnaissance. But the species behind them assumed humans would panic or fail to respond. They were wrong. The humans' monitoring networks detected the foreign presence almost immediately, and teams scrambled to assess the threat. Simulations predicted human behavior in response to the scouts. The aliens' guidance became relevant, providing insights into how humans might act under pressure. It seemed the ancient intelligence had anticipated this very situation. and the humans were about to prove it correct. Colonel Harris coordinated rapid response teams to evaluate defensive measures, while Dr. Ramirez and her colleagues worked on understanding the aliens' strategic insights. Humans began implementing layers of countermeasures, not brute force alone, but smart adaptive tactics based on observation, prediction, and innovation. Small defensive satellites were repositioned, automated systems prepared, and teams trained for scenarios that seemed unlikely. Yet the aliens' warning hinted that such unpredictability was humanity's greatest strength. The invading scouts would soon realize that underestimating humans could be a grave mistake. As the foreign scouts approached, their sensors indicated minimal threat. A few probes were sent toward human cities. But humans responded quickly and intelligently. They deployed decoy signals, electronic countermeasures, and calculated maneuvers that confused the intruders. The scouts recorded anomalies in human responses that defied conventional logic. Humans did not panic, nor did they follow predictable patterns. They adapted and improvised, using both technology and intuition in ways the invaders had not considered. Every small victory reinforced the lessons that the alien signal had conveyed. Dr. Ramirez marveled at how the humans instinctively followed principles embedded in their nature. The alien had predicted that humanity would survive by observing, learning, and acting creatively. The invading species began to realize that the humans were not only capable of defense, but also capable of innovation and unpredictability. The scouts' attempts to gather information became increasingly futile. Every probe sent was countered, redirected, or rendered useless. The intelligence of humans combined with their rapid adaptation made them formidable, even to technologically superior forces. Back on Earth, the global teams monitored every move of the foreign scouts, recording data, analyzing patterns, and preparing for possible escalation. Yet, despite the seriousness of the situation, there was pride in their achievements. Humanity was living proof of the aliens' warning. Their actions demonstrated resilience, intelligence, and unity in the face of superior forces. The invading species began to reassess their assumptions, realizing that the alien had been right. Humans were unpredictable and dangerous to underestimate. Every decision they had made to attack or test humans now carried immense risk. Colonel Harris reported to international authorities, explaining that the scouts were struggling to gain any advantage. The aliens' message was no longer theoretical. It was being proven in real time. Humans were showing strategic insight, adaptability, and courage. The lessons of history, both human and galactic, were merging in this unprecedented encounter. Every move by humans reinforced the message that aggression toward humanity was ill-advised. The foreign scouts eventually retreated, their mission compromised, their data inconclusive. They had underestimated humans at every turn. And the consequences were immediate. Their higher authorities were informed of the failures, and deliberations began across the galaxy regarding the threat humans posed. The aliens' warning had been ignored, yet it proved correct. Humans had survived the first test of their unpredictability and intelligence, and the galaxy had begun to take notice. Humanity remained unaware of the full scale of the challenge they had just faced, yet their instinctive actions had defended them. The aliens' warning echoed through the events. The lessons of observation, adaptation, and resilience had been applied perfectly. The humans had shown that even when others ignored caution, they could rise to the occasion. And the galaxy was learning, slowly but surely, that attacking or underestimating humans came with consequences no civilization could afford to ignore. The first real confrontation began when the scouts sent a larger fleet toward human colonies. They assumed humans would be easy to overwhelm. Their ships were fast, powerful, and armed with advanced weaponry, designed to incapacitate any civilization at once. Yet the humans responded with astonishing speed and intelligence. Early warning systems detected every movement of the fleet, and Earth's combined military and scientific teams coordinated strategies that were both innovative and unpredictable. It became immediately clear that the aliens' warning had been accurate. Humans were capable of turning even dire situations to their advantage. As the fleet approached, humans deployed a mixture of traditional defenses and experimental technology inspired by the aliens' hints in the signal. Drones moved strategically to intercept scouts, electronic countermeasures scrambled targeting systems, and simulated decoy signals were projected into space to mislead the invaders. Every action was carefully calculated, yet flexible, allowing humans to adapt as the situation evolved. The aliens' lessons about unpredictability and resilience seemed to guide human decision-making instinctively. Each maneuver confounded the attackers, showing that raw power alone could not guarantee victory. Colonel Harris monitored the battle from Earth, directing teams and coordinating satellite-based defense systems. The invaders were frustrated. Their advanced technology was neutralized by simple yet brilliant strategies. Humans exploited environmental factors, asteroid fields, and orbital mechanics to gain tactical advantages. They created traps that the invaders did not anticipate. The fleet began to realize that underestimating humans had been a fatal mistake. Every attempt to anticipate human moves failed, and the aliens' prediction about humanity's unpredictability became dramatically evident. Dr. Elena Ramirez analyzed the invaders' failures, noting that humans did not rely solely on technology, but also on creativity, intuition, and teamwork. Small human teams in command centers made split-second decisions that altered the outcome of engagements. They improvised when situations changed and even used the invaders' own systems against them. The aliens' warning had been clear about this combination of intellect, courage, and adaptability. And humans were proving it true in real time. The scouts had encountered forces they could neither predict nor control. As battles continued, humans demonstrated the ability to turn defensive situations into offensive opportunities. Counterattacks were launched with precise timing and strategy. The invaders' fleet suffered losses not through brute force alone, but because humans exploited weaknesses that only a species capable of creative thinking could detect. Even the most advanced ships were disabled, hijacked, or misled, sending the invaders into confusion and panic. It was a demonstration of how underestimated humans could become a dominant force when challenged. Back on Earth, global teams documented every aspect of the confrontation. Simulations of past alien encounters were compared to current events, revealing striking similarities between historical patterns and human behavior. The alien had described how other species failed against humans. And now, humans themselves were experiencing these lessons firsthand. Dr. Ramirez noted that humanity's courage, adaptability, and unity under pressure were key factors in their unexpected success. The invaders had counted on fear and predictability, but humans had neither. The aliens' message seemed almost prophetic. As humans continued to counter the invading fleet, their ingenuity kept them ahead at every stage. Small tactical teams found unconventional solutions, and larger strategic units coordinated broad movements that neutralized threats before they could escalate. The invaders grew increasingly desperate, struggling to maintain control. Realizing that humans were not a species to be measured simply by technology or numbers, every miscalculation proved the aliens' warning right. Humans were formidable in ways that no conventional strategy could account for. Eventually, the invaders attempted a retreat, their fleet damaged and morale broken. Humans allowed them to withdraw under controlled conditions, learning from the encounter while demonstrating both dominance and restraint. The aliens' lesson had been illustrated perfectly. Humans had defended themselves, outsmarted a technologically superior force, and shown that aggression toward them would not go unanswered. The galaxy, watching silently through sensors and transmissions, would soon understand the consequences of ignoring humanity's capabilities. Colonel Harris and Dr. Ramirez held a debriefing, reviewing every engagement and outcome. The results were astonishing. Humans had survived attacks that should have been fatal. Their ingenuity, adaptability, and teamwork had turned a near-impossible situation into a victory. The aliens' predictions were no longer abstract. They were manifest in reality. Humans had proven that their potential for defense and counterattack was extraordinary, and the universe had begun to witness it firsthand. By the end of the confrontation, humanity's reputation had changed. Even though most of the world remained unaware, the scientists and military knew the truth. The aliens' warning had been validated, and humans had emerged as a species that could not be underestimated. Their actions in the first real battle demonstrated resilience, creativity, and a willingness to fight intelligently, showing that aggression against humanity was not only dangerous, but could lead to disastrous consequences for anyone who dared to challenge them. As the confrontations continued, humans began to show not only resilience, but an extraordinary level of ingenuity. The lessons from the aliens' message seemed to guide them instinctively. Every action combined observation, strategy, and improvisation. The invaders had assumed that superior technology alone would guarantee victory. But humans proved that intellect, adaptability, and teamwork could overcome even the most advanced forces. Engineers, scientists, and military personnel worked together seamlessly, creating solutions in real time and using every resource available to counter the attackers. The aliens' warning about underestimating humans had never been more evident. In orbital command centers and on the ground, humans coordinated attacks that were unpredictable yet precise. Small teams operated independently yet communicated effectively, adapting to changing circumstances with remarkable speed. They used drones, satellites, and automated defenses not only to block enemy maneuvers, but to mislead and manipulate them. The invaders struggled to anticipate human moves, and their frustration grew as humans turned even failed attacks into strategic advantages. Every skirmish highlighted the unique combination of creativity and resilience that set humans apart. Dr. Elena Ramirez monitored simulations comparing human strategies with historical examples from the aliens' message. The similarities were striking. Humans repeated patterns of thinking and improvisation that had allowed past generations to survive impossible odds. The alien had clearly recognized these traits, and humans were applying them naturally under pressure. Each decision, each adaptive response demonstrated a level of ingenuity that no alien force had fully predicted. It was as if humanity itself was evolving in real time, learning and countering with unprecedented effectiveness. Colonel Harris oversaw the coordination of defensive and offensive operations, ensuring that every human action maximized both resource efficiency and tactical advantage. The invaders attempted to exploit what they thought were weaknesses, yet humans consistently found innovative ways to turn situations to their favor. They used the attackers' technology against them, hijacking communications and manipulating systems in ways that left the invaders disoriented. The aliens' warning about unpredictability and creative problem-solving had never been more relevant. Humans were demonstrating that adaptability was as powerful as raw strength. Every encounter highlighted humans' ability to improvise under pressure. When standard defenses failed, they created new ones. When plans were disrupted, they quickly revised strategies. And when technology seemed inadequate, human intuition filled the gaps. Small teams became highly effective units, combining knowledge, observation, and courage. The aliens' message emphasized that other species had failed because they could not anticipate human unpredictability. And now, humans themselves were proving the point in real time, showcasing their ability to survive and dominate in scenarios that seemed impossible. The invaders' fleet began to suffer serious setbacks, their own coordination faltering as humans exploited environmental factors and tactical vulnerabilities. Asteroid fields, orbital trajectories, and even solar activity were used creatively to human advantage. Humans did not rely solely on machines or firepower, but on ingenuity and intuition. They created traps, feints, and diversions that confused even the most advanced technology. The aliens' warning about humanity's unique capabilities was confirmed. The attackers began to realize that force alone could not defeat this species, and underestimating them could be catastrophic. Dr. Ramirez and her team documented every tactic and countermeasure, understanding that these moments were proof of human potential. The aliens' observations were being lived out before their eyes. Humans demonstrated courage, intelligence, and collaboration that allowed them to overcome overwhelming odds. The galaxy could not remain blind to the humans' abilities, and the aliens' warning had been intended to ensure that no one would ignore these lessons. Every human action reflected a combination of creativity and strength that could not be easily matched. Even as the battle progressed, humans began turning defense into offense. Small victories escalated into larger strategic gains. The invaders found themselves retreating or being trapped in situations they could not control. Humans demonstrated patience, foresight, and adaptability, countering attacks with solutions that seemed impossible in theory, but worked perfectly in practice. The aliens' message emphasized that humans' unpredictability was their greatest weapon, and now it was being proven beyond doubt. Colonel Harris summarized the situation for Global Command, explaining that the humans' ingenuity was the key factor in their success. Traditional strength was important, but human creativity and adaptability had made them a force that could not be underestimated. Every engagement reinforced this truth, and the aliens' warning was validated in ways that no simulation could fully capture. By the end of the confrontations, humans had transformed the battlefield into a testament to their abilities. They had shown intelligence, courage, and collaboration that no advanced force had expected. The aliens' observations had guided them unknowingly, and the galaxy had witnessed the results. Humans had proven that strategy, creativity, and adaptability could overcome even superior technology, and any species considering aggression against them would now have to think twice. The legacy of these encounters confirmed that humans were unpredictable, formidable, and not to be underestimated. As the confrontations between humans and the invading forces drew to a close, reports began to reach the Galactic Council. Representatives from numerous species convened to discuss what had happened. The scouts and fleets that had underestimated humanity returned with records of failures and unexpected resistance. The council members were shocked. They had relied on intelligence that had assumed humans were primitive and easily dominated. Yet the evidence showed otherwise. Humans had not only survived, but had demonstrated strategy, creativity, and courage that no other species could ignore. The council held emergency deliberations, analyzing footage, sensor data, and communications from the encounters. The invaders' reports confirmed that humans were unpredictable, resilient, and capable of rapid adaptation. Many species admitted they had misjudged humanity, some for centuries. The aliens' warning was cited repeatedly as a true reflection of what had been experienced. It was clear that attacking humans or attempting to control them would carry enormous risk. The council's discussions were tense, as they realized that humans were no longer a minor species, but a force whose potential could not be underestimated. Meanwhile, back on Earth, humans were unaware of the scale of attention they had drawn. Yet the global teams continued to study the aliens' messages and the outcomes of the confrontations. Dr. Elena Ramirez and Colonel Harris reviewed strategies, countermeasures, and responses, understanding that the lessons extended far beyond the immediate encounters. Humans had proven their ability to survive and adapt, but they had also sent a message to the galaxy, intentionally or not, that aggression against them would be costly, and that their ingenuity was a powerful weapon. The Galactic Council began to adjust policies regarding human contact. Some members argued for respect and caution, others for observation without interference. All agreed that humans were capable of defending themselves in ways that were previously unimaginable. The alien intelligence that had issued the warning now seemed validated. Every strategy, every improvised solution, every demonstration of courage and ingenuity by humans confirmed the Council's new understanding. Humans were not merely a developing species. They were a unique and formidable presence in the galaxy. As representatives shared data, the Council acknowledged the historical failures of other civilizations that had underestimated humans. Records showed repeated patterns. Arrogance, overconfidence, and dismissal of human potential had led to catastrophic defeats. The Council debated the implications of these lessons, realizing that humans' adaptability, unpredictability, and creativity were traits that could not be measured simply by technology or fleet size. The aliens' warning had been a clear signal of humanity's capacity to challenge even the most advanced forces, and the Council now had to factor this reality into every decision. Back on Earth, humans continued to improve their defenses and communication systems, unaware that their actions were shaping perceptions across the galaxy. Every successful countermeasure and adaptive strategy added to their reputation. Colonel Harris emphasized that preparation and observation were as important as strength. Dr. Ramirez noted that the aliens' message had been as much a guide as it was a warning, teaching humans to understand themselves, to recognize their potential, and to act decisively when challenged. The encounters had proven that these lessons were accurate and vital. The Council also discussed how future interactions with humans should be managed. It became clear that diplomacy and caution would be necessary. Any attempts to provoke or attack humans could trigger responses that no species was ready to handle. Humans' resourcefulness and creativity in combat had created a new standard, one that could not be ignored. The aliens' warning had essentially reshaped galactic strategy, making humanity a species to be observed carefully and respected. The Council agreed that underestimating humans would be a mistake, too costly to risk. On Earth, the victories against the scouts and fleets boosted confidence and understanding. Humans had survived scenarios that should have been overwhelming, and they had done so through collaboration, innovation, and resilience. The lessons were internalized. And yet, unknown to them, the galaxy was taking note. The aliens' guidance had provided insights into human potential that no one could have predicted. And the Council's recognition of this potential ensured that humans would now be treated differently, with caution, respect, and acknowledgement of their capabilities. By the time the Council concluded its deliberations, the status of humans had shifted. They were no longer considered a minor species or a passive presence in the galaxy. The encounters had proven their strength and adaptability, and the aliens' warning had been validated in the most dramatic way possible. Every species present understood that humans could not be underestimated. Any attempt to challenge them would be met with unpredictable consequences. The recognition of humanity's power was now universal. The aliens' message had been fully realized. And the galaxy had learned a lesson it would not soon forget. Humanity remained mostly unaware of the full impact of these events. Yet their actions had spoken louder than any message. Their creativity, courage, and resilience had rewritten expectations. The Galactic Council's acknowledgement confirmed that humans had earned a reputation, one that carried respect, caution, and undeniable attention. The aliens' warning had not been ignored. And its truth was now acknowledged across the stars, marking a turning point in how humans were seen and treated by other civilizations. The alien returned one final time, not to attack or negotiate, but to deliver a message that would echo across the galaxy. Its presence was calm, yet commanding, and every human who observed the signals felt the weight of its warning. The intelligence conveyed that humans had proven themselves capable of survival, adaptation, and ingenuity beyond what any other species had demonstrated. The alien emphasized that aggression toward humanity would not be taken lightly. Any species that ignored this fact would face consequences unlike anything previously experienced. Throughout its transmission, the alien highlighted the events that had just unfolded, showing the scouts' failures, the humans' countermeasures, and the unexpected strategies that had turned potential disasters into victories. It illustrated every point with patterns, sequences, and visual simulations that made the lessons clear. The alien's tone carried respect and caution simultaneously, acknowledging humanity's potential while warning the rest of the galaxy not to underestimate them. The intelligence conveyed that humans were not just survivors, but a species capable of shaping outcomes on a galactic scale. Colonel Harris and Dr. Elena Ramirez monitored the final transmission, understanding its significance immediately. The alien's message was more than a warning. It was a declaration, a statement to the galaxy that humans were not to be challenged lightly. The alien explained that previous civilizations had failed when they underestimated humanity, and that history would repeat itself for any species that ignored this lesson. The humans themselves had demonstrated qualities that no one could predict, combining courage, creativity, and intelligence in ways that made them uniquely formidable. The alien also conveyed that humans' unpredictability was their greatest strength. No technology, fleet, or strategy could guarantee success against a species that could adapt so quickly. The message emphasized that humans' responses were often unconventional, spontaneous, and highly effective, a combination that made them dangerous to underestimate. The intelligence stressed that this was not a threat from the alien, but a reality of observing humanity over time, a truth that any civilization considering aggression would have to accept. Across the galaxy, other species began to receive fragments of the final transmission. The aliens' communication ensured that humans' reputation would precede them in any interstellar interactions. The examples of past attacks and human victories were shared as a warning. It became evident that the alien intended for the galaxy to understand that humans had earned a level of respect, caution, and attention. Every maneuver, every creative solution, and every act of courage demonstrated by humanity was now being observed and analyzed by multiple civilizations. Back on Earth, the humans remained largely unaware of the full impact, but they felt a strange sense of accomplishment. Every battle, every defense, every countermeasure had proved their capability. The aliens' message confirmed that their actions mattered far beyond Earth, that the galaxy had noticed, and that any future threats would have to consider their ingenuity and resilience. Dr. Ramirez reflected on how the alien had guided them subtly through its warnings, ensuring that humans could demonstrate their full potential without direct interference. The alien concluded its message with a final, unmistakable point. No species should ever attempt to challenge humans without anticipating severe consequences. The intelligence made it clear that humanity's combination of courage, adaptability, and creativity made them capable of responses that were entirely unpredictable. Aggressive forces would find themselves outmatched not necessarily through sheer technology, but through humans' ability to exploit weaknesses, adapt rapidly, and act decisively. The alien emphasized that this was a universal truth, and one that could not be ignored. Colonel Harris summarized the implications for Earth's authorities, explaining that humans had entered a new stage in their place in the galaxy. Their actions had already sent a clear message to observers across multiple star systems, and the aliens' final warning ensured that the lesson would be remembered. Humanity had proven that it was not only capable of defending itself, but also capable of creating consequences for any force that underestimated them. The intelligence had effectively altered interstellar perceptions of humanity, solidifying their status as a species to be respected. As the aliens' signals faded, the humans continued to analyze the data, realizing that the lessons were both immediate and lasting. Their creativity, courage, and adaptability had been acknowledged and validated. The aliens' final warning served as both a caution and a recognition of humanity's potential. The message echoed in every mind that had studied it, leaving no doubt that aggression against humans would have consequences that no species could ignore, and that the galaxy now understood the extraordinary capabilities of humanity. By the end of the transmission, the alien left a legacy that would shape future interactions across the stars. Humans had survived, adapted, and triumphed in ways that had been observed and recorded. The warning was clear. The universe had taken notice. Humanity was formidable, and no species should ever forget the lessons learned. The aliens' final words reverberated silently but powerfully, leaving a permanent mark on the galaxy's understanding of humans, their resilience, and their unpredictable, unstoppable potential.